Now we are going to continue with the chapter Properties of Matter. So in the last class we studied about solids, liquids and gases. How the particles, tiny particles are involved in matter and how these tiny particles perform or show the complete characteristics of the substance. Then we studied about how the particles are arranged in solids, liquids and gases. Now, in this class, we will be discussing more about solids, liquids and gases and how one state can be converted into another state, or one form of matter can be converted into another state of matter. First, we will be beginning with the solid state. So in the figure, you can understand that the solid particles are arranged here. How the particles are arranged here? The particles are very closely packed. You can see that there is no space left in between the particles. Since the particles are arranged very closely, the force of attraction between these particles is very strong. Isn't it? Particles are arranged very closely, isn't it? Is there any space in between them? No. So, the force of attraction between the particles is very strong. And what about its movement? Can you see any space for these particles to move? No. There is no movement of particles, isn't it? Because the particles are closely packed in solids. And if the particles are not able to move, do you think that there will be energy? Energy of the particles will be very less because they can't move. When we are doing something or when we are moving only, there will be energy. So here the particles are rigid. They are closely packed. There is no space to move. So the energy of the particles, that is in solid state, the energy of the particles will be very less. So we can say that the solids are very rigid. They are having definite shape, mass and volume. See here you can see the figure of liquids. How liquid particles are arranged. When we are comparing to the solids, here the particles are loosely packed, isn't it? You can see a lot of spaces in between them. Since the particles are loosely packed, the force of attraction between them is very less when compared to solids. Solids particles were very closely packed, so there was force of attraction. But here in liquids, since the particles are loosely packed, the force of attraction between these particles is very less. Particles are free to move. Okay, particles are free to move. Why? Because there is enough space in between them. So the particles are free to move. Here, since the particles are free to move, energy will be more when compared to solids, isn't it? When there is energy or when the particles are easy to move, they have space to move, there will be energy. So when we are comparing to solids, liquids will be having more energy. And what about the general characteristic of liquids? Liquids have no definite shape, but they have definite mass and definite volume. They only take the shape of the container in which they are taken. Okay. Now the last one, that is the gases. See how the particles are arranged very, very loosely packed. So, what will be the force of attraction? The force of attraction between them is very, very less when compared to solids and liquids. Since so much space is in between them, the particles are free to move everywhere. And energy also, it's very much greater amount of energy when you are comparing to solids and liquids. Okay, the gases, they are having no definite shape and volume. They only have weight or mass. Okay, so the particles are very loosely packed in gas. Since the particles are loosely packed, the force of attraction is very less. Since the particles are loosely packed, they are free to move everywhere. Energy is more. Okay? This is a figure which is in your textbook. Okay. So here we are going to study about the change of state. That is, one state can be changed from one form to another. Now, as you can see, in your fridge there will be ice cubes, isn't it? So during the hot summer season, what you will do? You will take some ice cubes. And accidentally, if you drop one or two ice cubes down on the table or on the floor, after some time, you can see that the ice has melted and it has changed into a liquid form, isn't it? So ice, as you know, is a solid state of water. But after some time, it has changed into the liquid form. That is another state of matter. How did it happen? This ice has absorbed some heat from the surroundings and changed from one form to another. Okay. So you can do this in your home also. You can take some ice cubes. You can keep it in a tumbler or in a beaker or something. And then if you want to heat it, you can heat it, or either you can keep it undisturbed for some time. But if you are giving heat, what happens is that the ice starts to melt. It starts to change from solid state to liquid state by absorbing the heat. So basically you can say that the temperature is increasing, isn't it? When you are heating something, what happens? The temperature is increasing. So the ice will be absorbing the heat from the surrounding, or from, if you are heating, it will be absorbing heat from there. And it will be changing to the liquid form. Now the ice has completely melted and become liquid, that is water. Again you are heating it, you are boiling it. What happens? The water, if it starts boiling, you can see vapors coming out of it, isn't it? So you can say that the liquid is now changing into another form, that is the gaseous form. Okay. Now, you have boiled the water a lot. The water has changed into water vapor. Now what you are doing is, you are closing that tumbler or that beaker with a lid. Okay. And you are going for some work or something and you are coming back and you are opening that lid. What can you see? You can see lot of water droplets under the lid, isn't it? So what happened? That boiled water that you kept it there on the table has cooled, isn't it? Now the temperature is less. And when it starts cooling, the water droplets is condensing and coming back to the liquid form. Okay? And again, you want that liquid to be cooler again. What will you do? You will take that liquid or that tumbler or that beaker and keep it in fridge or freezer. After 2 or 3 hours, you come back and take that tumbler. You can see that the liquid form has completely changed into solid. It has changed into an ice block. So as you know, inside the fridge, the temperature is more or less? Yes, less. So the temperature is again less. So what happens? The water has changed into the solid form. So if you have understood what I have said now, you can easily complete this figure given in the figure given in your textbook. Okay. Now, do you think that all substances, all solid substances will be changing into liquid form and then into gaseous form? No. There are some exceptions. Okay. There are some substances, some solid substances, which doesn't go into liquid state. They skip that liquid state and directly go into the gaseous form. So we are going to study about that process in which the solid substances will be directly going into the gaseous form without entering into the liquid form.
Sublimation. If you keep naphthalene balls exposed to air for some days, it is observed that their size gets reduced after some days. This happens due to a phenomenon called sublimation. Normally, solids transform into liquid on heating, but in sublimation, a solid gets directly transformed to a gas on heating or on exposure to air. In above case, as some mass of the naphthalene balls is converted to a gas, they get reduced in size. There is a simple experiment to study sublimation. Some ammonium chloride is taken in a china dish and a glass funnel is kept inverted on it. A cotton plug is inserted into the funnel and the china dish is slowly heated. It is observed that ammonium chloride on heating gets directly transformed into vapor. Also, the vapors get cooled on the glass surface and are converted into solid form. Thus, we infer that ammonium chloride undergoes sublimation and hence is converted into vapor form directly. Also, the vapors when allowed to cool directly get transformed into solid state.
You have studied in this class about the arrangement of particles. What about the energy level? How one form of matter can be changed into another form? And a new word known as sublimation, isn't it? So these are the things which you have studied today. An assignment today. There is a table in page number 58. After watching the video, all of you should fill that table and keep it ready for the class. And you can discuss it with your teacher. Okay? So that's all for today. Thank you all of you and have a nice day.